this was a great summer kiss uh, gospel record, gospel rock and roll record that came out in the summer of 1970 that you need to know about, coming in at Billboard's Hot 100 at number 67, down from 57 the previous week. Tommy James with Ball and Chain, sort of a spiritual record, somewhat reminiscent of the stuff he did with Tommy James and the Shondells later on, like Crimson and Clover. Well, not Crimson. Well, not, but more like Crystal Blue Persuasion and Sweet Cherry Wine in 1969. There's that spiritual side of Tommy James. I'm Coming Home was another one he did back in 1971. He was backed up by a gospel group when he did that song. Tommy James with a Ball and Chain, although it only got as high as number 57 on Billboard's Hot 100, the summer of 1970 was very successful for Tommy James. The song Tighter and Tighter by Alive and Kickin', written and produced by Tommy James. Got a nice royalty check out of that record, no doubt about that. Tommy James. I read a great book about Tommy James. He had this fantastic autobiography. I ate that thing up. It came out around 2008, 2009. I just got a great photo section in there, too. Tommy James, he signed with the Roulette record label back in the mid-60s. And the guy who ran the Roulette record label was pretty dangerous. He could be very dangerous. He was a gangster. I don't know if he was a mafia guy, but he was sort of a gangster. His name was Morris Levy. Morris Levy was a very successful businessman. At one time, Morris Levy ran 90 companies, employing 900 people. That included record pressing plants, numerous labels. He had 81 retail stores at one time. But he was very dangerous. I remember reading something like when Tommy James first met Morris Levy, people were coming into Morris Levy's office with baseball bats. What they would do, they'd go around. I think Morris Levy was hired out by other record labels for Morris Levy to hire people to destroy record pressing equipment that was making bootleg copies of records. And he'd get these guys to go out and just wreck these machines with their baseball bats. Even turn those baseball bats sometimes on the counterfeiters themselves, the bootleggers themselves. This was very dangerous. Had to have been a little bit scary for Tommy James when he walked in there. It's like, oh my God, what's going to happen if I don't have a hit record? Am I going to wind up in a body bag? Well, it's not funny, but yet it's funny, but not funny. And I got another story. You're not going to believe this. I remember reading that book. I got to share this with you. Been wanting to do this for a long time. Around 1968, 1969, Tommy James walked into a meeting. Morris Levy's office. He was meeting with some gangster guys. Mafia types. And but here's the thing: one of the gangsters came up to Tommy James. He said, and Morris Levy was introducing Tommy James to all these guys. It was pretty tense. I mean, we're talking the underworld. Morris Levy was introducing Tommy James to all these guys, but one of the guys was really nice to him. One of the gangsters, these were older guys. These were guys in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. They've been at this for years. And this guy told Tommy James, when Tommy James was introduced to him, this guy told Tommy James, man, I like your music. Man, you came out with some good songs, man. Put out some good music. Tommy James, wow, man. Well, I'm glad I made it through that meeting. I survived. I will survive. But guess what happened? About later on, Tommy James was cruising around town with Rob Grill of the Grassroots, lead singer of the Grassroots, cruising around New York City, the streets of New York City. They saw this gangster guy who praised Tommy James. Tommy James recognized this gangster guy. A car pulled up on this gangster guy, and somebody in the car shot him. Shot the gangster guy right in the face, right there in New York City. Tommy James saw it. That's how dangerous it could get. I mean, he had hits, though, with Morris Levy's Roulette Records. Morris Levy, to show you how dangerous Morris Levy could get, and the FBI caught on to him eventually. Morris Levy made a deal with a record wholesaler. His name was John Lamonte. This was in 1984. John Lamonte, record wholesaler, agreed to buy $1 million worth of records from Morris Levy. 60 trucks delivered these records to the wholesaler, to John Lamonte. 60 truckloads of records. But according to John Lamonte claimed that the best titles were missing from that delivery. Hey, where are the prime cuts, man? I'm not paying you. He didn't pay full price. Morris Levy, oh my God. All right, boys, let's go after this guy. Let's go after Robert Lamonte. He's not gonna F with me. I need my money. We made a deal. It's on paper. Morris Levy arranged to have John Lamonte assaulted, and it was bad. It was not pretty. John Lamonte's eye socket was fractured. The FBI got in on it, and eventually, by 1990, Morris Levy was convicted of extortion, organized crime, infiltrating the record industry. Morris Levy was knee-deep into it. But he passed away before he went to prison, and I remember it was a pretty powerful entry where Tommy James fisted Morris Levy before he died, 1990. Had been a hell of a homecoming. Boy, now you're thinking, this does not make sense. You go from spiritual, talking about the salvation of ball and chain, to get the guys getting beat up by Morris Levy, the gangster. What is this all about? Love this record. Ball and Chain, Tommy James. I hope you enjoy it. Tell me what you think about this record. If you like it or don't like it. If you've never heard it before and then you've never heard it before and then you hear it and you say, God, dog, I missed a great record. Take care.